everybody, I'm Nadine. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. Sorry if you can hear any bangs from outside. It is bonfire night as I'm filming this, so there's lots of fireworks going off around me. But yeah, I thought I would just do a bit of a reading update today. So, in this last week, I have finished Elizabeth Gaskell's Wives and Daughters. This was fantastic. I loved it so much. So it follows Molly Gibson. I've told you about it in my previous videos. I won't go on about it too much. But it follows Molly Gibson. We first meet her in childhood, and then it follows her into her sort of adulthood, really. And it looks at her family relationships, sibling relationships, love affairs, friendships with people in the town. One thing though is, it is a big book, so you end up, well, I ended up getting really invested in the character, and although you know what's going to happen from quite early on, you know how the book's going to end up, what I didn't realise was Elizabeth Gaskell died before she wrote the final chapter. So, you know, the last 100 pages I was sort of rushing towards this, what I imagined, this wonderful climax, and no, denied. But this was published in serial form, so the editor of the newspaper that it was being published in knew the outcome of the story, and so there was like this little note chapter at the end by the editor saying what was going to happen. It's not quite the same as reading it in the author's words, so that was very disappointing and kind of sad that, you know, Elizabeth Gaskell had been working on this wonderful novel, I assume for a long time, and, you know, unfortunately didn't live to complete it. But yeah, wonderful story. Very much highly recommend this one. I also finished another Elizabeth Gaskell, which was Cranford. Again, really enjoyed this one. This one I read originally when I was a teenager, and I didn't think that I was going to enjoy another Elizabeth Gaskell as much as this one, but actually I much preferred Wives and Daughters. But this is, it follows this young woman, I think her name was Mary Smith, but you don't really hear much about her, the narrator. She visits Cranford quite a lot from a nearby town, Drumble, and basically each chapter we're meeting different people in the town and learning a little bit more about their stories, and it's sort of about, you know, the changes in society and you know, again, relationships and how people are viewed and how they view each other. Really interesting. I've started reading Cousin Phyllis, but I'm not very far into this, but maybe about 10 pages. And this follows a male, Paul, his name is Paul something or other. Not very good with names, sorry. He travels a lot with his work, and his parents task him to meet their relatives that they have not seen for 25 years when he's in the town that they know that, you know, they live. So he does that against his judgment. He doesn't really want to, but he said he would, so he does. And there he meets Cousin Phyllis, and he is feeling an attraction for her. And that's kind of all that's happened so far. It's not a very long one, I think it's just about 100 pages. So I should finish that this week, but it's not like my main priority this week. Next, audiobook wise, I was listening to a lot of Anthony Trollope, and I have stopped that now because I'm a bit bored of it. So I have gone on to my first non-fiction November read, and that is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. And yeah, it's quite good. Again, I'm not very far into it, maybe about an hour or so, and it's narrated by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't believe he narrates the whole book, but so far he has been narrating. And it's just been about his early life, so it's been really interesting actually hearing what little he comes from. You know, they had nothing, you know, all sharing one basin of water to wash in, kind of nothing, and talking about, you know, the denazification around where he lived. yeah, really, really interesting. Very much looking forward to hearing more about his life. It's quite a long book. I think it was about 24 hours. So yeah, very much enjoying that. And then I've also started reading Death Note today. I've only read the first chapter. I've watched the entire TV series, so I know what's happening. Anyway, so Ryuk, a Shinigami, a death god, he drops his Death Note into the mortal world out of sheer boredom, and yeah, just wants to see what's going to happen. And this notebook, when somebody writes a person's name in it and pictures their face, that person will then die. It is found by a straight-A student, Light Yagami, and he decides that he is going to use this Death Note to clean up society. So he's going to kill all the criminals, and then that progresses to he's not just going to kill the criminals, but also people who just don't behave as well as he thinks that they ought to. So yeah, that's really cool. If you're into graphic novels, or even if you're not actually, it's a really good story, I would recommend. And I think, oh no, my Kindle book. I was going to show it you, however, I got it from NetGalley, so there's no actual cover. Let's see if my Wi-Fi is working. Probably not. I live in a big old crumbling house where things just don't work as they should do. No, so I can't get the picture up to show you what it would look like when it comes out, but I got it from NetGalley and Quercus, the publishers, and it is The Burning House by Neil Spring. Neil Spring is one of my favourite horror writers. I think he's only been writing for about 5 years. Well, he's only been published for about 5 years. And I've been looking forward to this book for, well, since it was announced, really. I'm not going to say too much about it because I think I might just do a review video on it when I finished it, and I might talk a little bit more about his other books. I'm not sure. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. But yeah, I think I might do a review video on it. It's set in Loch Ness, Scotland, and it centres around Boleskine House, which apparently this is a true story. I'm going to have a little bit of a Google of it when I finish the book, not before, because I don't want any aspects of it to be ruined for me. But this abused woman runs to this nearby town to escape her husband, and she changes her name, whole new life, becomes an estate agent there, and she sells this Boleskine house to a dodgy guy, and stuff happens. It's a creepy old house on the banks of Loch Ness. It's got a lot of bad history, so yeah, I'm imagining quite a lot is going to go down there, and I'm looking forward to researching the real place, if it exists, as well. But yeah, I love Neil Spring. Love him. If you haven't read any of his work, I definitely recommend. He wrote Ghost Hunters, which again, it's like a true story, follows paranormal investigator Harry Price, and my favourite is The Lost Village, which was the follow-up to Ghost Hunters. If you just want to dip into any one Neil Spring, I would go for Lost Village. You don't need prior knowledge, and it doesn't really matter, I don't think, what order you read them in. But that was fantastic. But anyway, I'm waffling about him, and I said that I was going to do it in another video, so I'll do that. But yeah, thank you very, very much for joining me again today for this quick update. Sorry for all this mess, but I'm moving house in the next 5-6 weeks, and so I'll start pulling everything out. It's just so much stuff. You know, when you realise all of a sudden that you haven't actually sorted through all of your crap for the last 5 years, and then all of a sudden you have to do that in 5 weeks. Yeah, it's going to be busy. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and I will catch you again next time. Right, bye.